Good morning to everybody who's joining us today, and hello to the ones that are joining us later on YouTube. Today I would like to talk about gardening, online gardening, to be a bit more specific. I want you to learn how to find gardening information online. So I have this prepared this handout, which I want to show you so you can see what I'm talking about. So first, I want to give you some information how to find gardening information online. I want to talk about handy gardening apps, maybe a little bit about online shopping for gardening, and then show you that you can go and make some really famous garden virtual tours, and maybe at the end to how to hold a Zoom meeting about gardening if you're into that. We have here David Sutton. David Sutton is the coordinator of open spaces for the Clarence Valley Council. He will join us at the end and talk a little bit about his experiences and give you some information about gardening. So hello, David. And I'd like to start now. There are some pretty interesting websites where you could go and have a look. Like one of them is Gardening Australia, which is from ABC. You could find that on ABC iView, or you could go to their website and have a look. So that's the Gardening Australia website, where you can just find fact sheets about veggies. Just go and find some information about that one. Of course, there are a lot more. So there is the Sustainable Gardening Australia. This is a non-profit social organization which is dedicated to achieving healthy, biodiverse planet and a vibrant, sustainable community. This you will find here. Then there is the Diggers Club. It is Australia's largest garden club. They have a lot of experience, and they have a lot of seeds and plants that you can go and shop online. We have Gardens Online. It's a large Australian gardening site. They offer extensive shopping and interactive plant finder, home and garden information, ideas and advice. We might have a look at that one. Maybe quickly. Not that one. So that's Garden Online. There is the shopping, garden shed. There is what you can find here, and about the community. And then we have Better Homes and Gardens. They have a plant encyclopedia, which is, I find, pretty handy. Show you that. So you can search by plant name or plant type. Of course, tell them where you are so you can actually find them. And it's pretty handy for finding information about plants that you're going to maybe plant in your garden. So that's pretty good. And then, of course, we have the Garden Clubs of Australia, which is a non-profit organization that provides a range of services to members. So if you want to have their services, you would have to join them. But so that's here. So if you want to go there and have a look at that one, so it's it has about 720 clubs that are with them. So you might for sure find a club that's close to you. And then there's the Australian Plant Society of New South Wales. You can learn about and share and grow and conserve Australian native plants and their habitats. That's where you would find it. So that's really interesting, I think, for people that are interested in native plants. There is a plant database, information about gardening with native plants. There is a newsletter and journals. So really a lot of information about native plants, which I find really handy. And then, of course, what you can do as well is, as a member of the Clarence Regional Library, you can download e-magazines or e-books about gardening with the following apps on Google Play or the App Store. So RB Digital is more into magazines. They have garden magazines that you could download and look at them. BorrowBox is more into books, so you would find a non-fiction book about gardening, which could interest you. And now I want to go to the gardening apps. So there is the ABC Veggie Guide, which is a essential tool for vegetable gardeners. You can find all the vegetables, when to plant them, where, what kind of soil you need, and lots of information about growing vegetable. Then you have the Garden Aid, which gives you details on over 90 vegetable and herbs. Then again, that's a bit like the ABC Veggie Guide. It's a veggie garden planner, where to plant what, which plants go good together, and what they need, how much sun, how much water, do they need any shade, and things like that. And then we have the Organic Gardener magazine, which is a guide to organic gardening. Sorry. Then we go from seed. Sorry about that. We go from seed to spoon. That's an app that was made by a family of 6 that wanted to grow food, and they started to look up lots and lots of information, and they all put it in this app. So all the experiences they have made over time, they have put into that from seed to spoon. So they kind of growing food made easy. Then you have the Grow It, which is a plant community. With this app, you can connect with people to have your plants identified, as example, or questions about gardening answered. And you can find inspiration for your next project there as well. Then we have the Moon and Garden, which is making the best of your organic garden by using biodynamics. It's based on moon influence, and this app will tell you what to do, when to do it. Then we have the Leaf Snap plant identification. This is a tool or an app that you can identify plants. What you have to do, it identifies flowers, trees, fruits, and plants just everywhere. What you need is you need your phone, and you take a photo of the plant. The best result is when you have a flowering plant. They take a photo of it, and then you can upload it to that app, and this app will try to identify the plant you just found. It doesn't always work. Sometimes there are plants that are really, really similar to each other. So then sometimes it doesn't really work all that well, but it works pretty good. I've tried it. It's okay. It works, which I find pretty amazing. Then we have the garden tags, plant idea and care, which is something of a plant identification as well, but it gives you planting inspiration, growing advice, and plant care instructions, and that all in that one app. Then we have What's That Flower? Again, an app to identify flowers, especially in this case. So if you wonder what's the name of the beautiful flower you just walk by, then this app will help find you out what it could be. And then we have Garden Eyes. It's called this app. It's a garden and plant app. It's kind of a diary. So you keep track of and document your plants and your garden, which is handy because you can always go back to that and look. And then there is an app called Smart Plant. So that one is about identifying plants as well, but you can browse thousands of plants, add the plants you love, and get info. You need to look after them. So that's a handy app as well. And then, last but not least, there is an app called iScape. It's about designing your outdoor living area. So this is actually a tool that helps you designing these areas. So these are the apps that might make your garden life a bit easier to help you. So now we come to the online shopping. So lots of garden shops or nursery are offering online shopping these days. And here are some of the websites you can do some online shopping. So I want to show them to you. So there is the Gardens online shopping. This is a shop where you can just get about everything you need for your garden, like compost and worm farms, fertilizer, garden accessories, garden decor, footwear, just about really everything, seeds, protection, garden beds, watering. So that's one of the, and then there is the Diggers Club I talked about before, where you can become a member if you want to, but you don't need to. But then you can like order vegetable seeds, or seed collections. You can just look through it alphabetically, what you might need. You can, and you always get a little description as well, what it is about. And for members, it's usually a bit cheaper, or some of them you can only get if you're a member. So it depends. So that is one. And then there is the Garden Express, it's called, where you can get bulbs, trees, shrubs, flowers, garden accessories. So there is a lot to look through. So some specialty gift ideas, online offers, then garden accessories. So as you can see, there is a lot to choose from. And then there is the plants in a box. So these are delivered to you, to your door. So you can actually order plants. They come in a box, and they have grasses, hedges, shrubs, natives, succulents. So they have quite a bit. They don't have vegetable, but they have other stuff. So that's pretty interesting too. So you might have a look at that one. So let's go back to that. So if you have never shopped online before, I suggest you go to the Be Connected website and read a bit about shopping online. So you can do a short course about online shopping there that just gives you handy tips about online shopping and what to look for, and just safety measures as well. Now I would like to go to some virtual tours of famous gardens, which you can go to. So there are some pretty amazing ones. So one of the website is called Spaces. They have 9 virtual tours of really beautiful gardens, and it's pretty amazing what they show you, and you can just go through the gardens and have a look at them. So like Monet's Secret Garden, so which shows you a bit what it is about. So it is really pretty what they show you. So if you are at home and would like to go to Kew Gardens, London, so I suggest do it by visiting a virtual garden. So you can walk around and just play around a little bit and go for a walk in Kew Gardens and see what they have. So that's pretty amazing, and you can all do it from home. And then there is I want just to quickly show you, there is a kind of virtual tours on Google Earth as well. You go to Google Earth and launch it, and then you can choose Voyager, and here you can choose nature, and there will be some parks and gardens as well you can choose from and go and have a walk and have a look there. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, there is a little course on the Be Connected website. It's called Google Earth More Than a Map, where it tells you how to use Google Voyager. And so you can go there and look at that. Then just quickly, gardening on Zoom. There is a thing called eventbrite.com.au where they offer some events about gardening. Or you could host your own meeting on Zoom. What you need to do to host your own meeting is to sign up. This you can do on the Zoom website, because that's only possible if you signed up to hold a Zoom meeting, but it's pretty easy actually, and you can do it whenever you like and maybe invite your fellow gardeners. So have a look at that in the handout. It explains how to do it, how to invite people, and then you can have your party, your garden party. So we're nearly at the end now, and I think now's the moment maybe that David Sutton could talk to you and give you some information and maybe advice. So David, can I give you the word?
Yeah, thank you very much. I guess as a avid gardener, it's always good to continue to learn, and thank you so much for sharing all that information. It was really, really good. There was a whole lot of apps in there that I haven't even seen. So very impressive, and hopefully the gardening community and the readership of the libraries can actually learn something from there or grow their abilities in the garden. So I guess I'm a nerd when it comes to gardens. I'm lucky enough to be able to work in the area that I love and have always loved, being the open spaces. So as open spaces coordinator, I look after a lot of the parks, reserves, sports grounds, open areas across the Clarence Valley, which is really good. So I can put some of my passion into that. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit away from hands-on these days. I'm in the office, but I still get a chance to have a go. But when I'm not here, I often joke about being knee deep, if not thigh deep, in my own veggie garden, which okay. I absolutely love. So yeah, so I guess some things to think about really, and that I always think about with my garden is really it comes down to the preparation in the soil. You can't go past the soil and how alive your soil is. You've got to feed it. It's if you feed your soil, it'll feed you. So it's all about compost. It's all about looking at the protection of the soil through mulches. It's understanding what you're adding in there, if it's making it too alkaline or too acid, and then watching what the plants do. So you can really see if your plants are really thriving, they're going really well. It means that your soil is alive. Your soil is rich in worms and other soil biologies. If they seem to be struggling and they seem to be being attacked by pests, you'll probably find that really a lot of your problems are coming back to your soil. It might be too dry, it might be too compacted, it may not have enough organics in it. So that's really, I guess, the starting point for any really good garden. I guess the next thing is understanding the climate that we live in. So I guess we're blessed in many ways. up here in the Clarence Valley local government area. We have we're in the subtropics, but we still get enough cold weather to actually allow some of the other crops to grow. We get enough of the warm and the humidity to get some of the tropical plants growing. So it's really amazing what we can grow. You just need to be aware of your little climate of what you've got and where you're able to actually grow and what you can grow in those areas. So if you understand your garden and you understand where the shady areas are or where the wind areas are or little warm patches, you can pretty much grow anything. At this time of year, I guess we're sort of heading into the warmer months. So some of your winter crops are starting to, either come to the end. So your garlics and onions and so on are starting to swell and almost get ready to be picked. But it's now time to get things like your beetroots and your carrots and eggplants and zucchinis in the ground. Again, I've been lucky enough in my garden to get some of those things to push through winter because we've had a pretty mild winter this year. But now's really time for them to get going. And even thinking some of your other crops like your pumpkins and your watermelons, those melon crops, get them in the ground now before it gets too humid and get a bit of growth on before the really hot time. So there's some important things. As I mentioned about the soil compost, we're blessed in the Clarence Valley to have a 3-bin system, but in many ways that actually sees a lot of our good organics in the green bin disappear. So if you do have the space and you can have a compost bin, I'd encourage you to do that and try and save some of your less smelly green waste and put it in your compost bin and feed it up and get it growing quite well. So you can use that for your soil and get it back. So that's, I guess, some of the other things. Some of the other little bits to think about your gardening is understanding what you're planting with what. Try and stagger your planting. So don't go to Bunnings or somewhere and go and buy the whole nursery full of 10,000 trays of lettuce like everyone did during COVID. You're not going to grow that many. Grab one punnet at a time, plant them, let them grow for a couple of weeks, and then go and grab another one. Put them in the ground because, it's what ends up happening is you have all this lettuce all in one go and there's nothing for the next time. So, remember about staggering it. Some people are lucky enough, like myself, have got a nice big veggie garden and I've got lots of little beds and I can sort of grow one here and one here and one here, which is good. And you can stagger it. Others have a little bit of room, so you have to be a little bit more efficient and sort of squeeze them in and plant them so that they don't overshade each other. Remember to stagger your crops. Don't go crazy. Don't buy everything. And also rotate your crops. So if you planted an area out with, say, broccoli this season, perhaps don't plant it in that garden bed if you can next season, or move it another area of the garden bed. So move them around. What that does is it helps the soil recover. It also stops or helps pests and diseases. So just some little tricks like that can really, really help your garden along. But I think most importantly is all that fabulous information you gave us today. There's so much in today that's through apps or online, or you go to your local community garden if you're allowed to and socially distance, but catch up and be really connected and get in the garden and keep growing and get some health back into you, I think. I know that's where I'd prefer to be right now, but that's all right. We've got to go to work, I guess.
Yes, I think that's for all of us. Yeah. I'd rather be in the garden as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any questions popped up or if anyone wants anything specific.
I'd like to know what you're picking from your garden at the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm not wanting to show off at the moment, but I'm right now. I'm harvesting broccoli, kale, snow peas, tomatoes.
Tomatoes
carrots.
Already?
Yeah, I've got. As I said, I managed to sneak some tomatoes through the winter. I've got new ones coming, but I managed to sneak some through.
Okay.
They kept going. I kept them sheltered enough to keep going. So carrots, spinach, parsley. Yeah, I can pretty much lettuce. I can pretty much have an entire meal out of my veggie garden.
Okay, that's
unfortunately
cool.
I don't have a cow in there, but that would mean I'd be able to be completely self-sufficient. So it's I love my garden and I love what I can get out of it. So it's good.
Yeah, I have a garden myself. I'm just a hobby gardener and I'm still learning a lot. So but yeah, it's really very rewarding to have your own garden. So
It certainly is.
yeah, it is, and just be out there and then, oh wow, look at that tomato, or oh, look at that capsicum, oh, that's huge, and
Yeah.
just be happy about it. Yeah,
It is.
so yeah, I can really understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think the best thing, actually, one of the nice things is if you're lucky enough to have kids, get your kids involved.
Yep.
I had Father's Day was this weekend, and my kids came in and they planted their own little veggie gardens. It
Okay.
was they said Dad's garden's too big, so they wanted their own pots.
Yeah.
So they've got 3 little pots, and they've got strawberries and a few other bits and pieces like that in.
That's amazing for kids.
My son actually
Strawberries.
planted grass seed, which would be interesting to see how that goes in his veggie garden, but that's all right. That's what he wanted to grow, so off he went. So
yeah, you have to let them do it their own way. That's the idea about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just telling them what to do. Then it's no fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's a good idea. Garden with your kids.
Yes.
They will
exactly.
have some totally different ideas about gardening than you probably.
Yep, as I said, the one pot has got grass seed in it, so I'm not sure what that's going to be an interesting one.
What he wants to harvest. Oh yeah, feed it to the cow you don't have.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
So that's really one of the things. I think the other one I forgot is remember the things that keep your garden going. So think about the bees, think about the ladybugs, think about all those nice things. In many ways, you can. I don't spray anything in my garden at all, and I share. Sometimes I don't like how much I'm sharing, but I always share with the critters.
What you're talking about, yeah.
But yeah, if you plant things, clever things, you can plant things like cosmos and pyrethrum daisies and so on, and they have benefits, because often the good bugs will come and be attracted to them, and the bad ones will sometimes eat them over the other ones. So. And it makes the garden look pretty as well. It's not all just about veggies as well.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah.
No, it's I think what you said, a healthy garden needs just about everything. You can't just spray everything, then it's not a healthy garden.
Exactly, yeah.
If you poison everything that you don't want there, it's not healthy anymore. It's about biodiversity and especially in a veggie garden, you can do that easily.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So very. Thank you very much for the time today, and always happy to share what's happening in my place.
I'm very thankful that you took the time to join us and give some advice to us and everybody who's listening or watching. So thanks a lot for that.
That's okay.
And from now on, I walk through Grafton with another eye and just have a look. Maybe you did it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, no. It's definitely the hand of my team, and you can definitely see all the trees and the beautiful bedding plants that have been planted, and even the seasonal flowers that get into Memorial Park and the roundabouts. It turns quite a show. So
it's the end of our meeting, and I hope you will join us maybe next week when we talk about the digital library. And it was nice to have you all here, and looking forward to the next session. So have a nice day.